This shouldn't be as complicated, but still gonna take some time to disassemble the bezel, the watch band, and the movement on the inside. So there's really no reason for me to do this, but still I am doing it anyway. Now we're gonna start by removing this one screws on this side. This is an ordinary screws, and 4 screws that is locking the watch band, including the watch bezel as well. This is an hex screw, so you're gonna need a 1.5mm hex screwdriver, like one of these, to open it up. Okay, I was about to remove the watch bezel, but before we get to that, let's have a look at the watch band real quick. And notice that it has 2 parts, being the watch band itself and an adapter. This part that goes underneath or hug your wrist. In my case, this thing is the thing that pull off my wrist hair sometime. If you want to buy, say, a silicone watch band, you're gonna need to find or make one your own that has a shape like this. So let's see now, the biggest part or the size of this will be 27mm. Basically cut a 27mm silicone band with this shape. Just, you could trace it along and fit it in there like that, and make sure that the silicone band could fit this, let's see now, 1.6mm thick hex screw bar. The watch bezel. How to change the bezel, just in case you scratch yours. You're gonna need to remove the whole piece, and by that I mean the buttons, especially this side. This one button over here is the thing that holds this upper bezel and this lower bezel in place, meaning you cannot remove them just like that. Though you could remove this side of this watch bezel already. Let's see if I could try to pull it out like that. Okay, this part is easy. It looks like that, and it is a hard plastic, so you cannot flex this. Same goes with this other side. You cannot flex this up and over this center button, and that is why if you want to remove this bezel or even the upper one, you're gonna need to take this button out, and in order to do so, you're gonna need to remove 4 screws on the back and then take the movement out and then remove the E-clip. You know how it goes. Here are the movement and the casing itself, made out of resin, not carbon, so there's that. And notice there's one more spring over here, so try not to lose those. We'll be back to this afterwards. This is the movement of the watch, which looks really cool. It is pretty thick and hefty, so you can feel the weight to it, so that shows quality somehow. And notice that it used a different kind of ribbon, not the zebra ribbon that was used on older version of G-Shock watches. So this is new. 3481 Casio and Thailand sign over here. AC operation could be performed down here, and no jewels written on this side of this movement, on the steel case basically that connect the battery to the movement or the circuit board inside. On the sides, they look pretty common and they're just being clipped on. One over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I were to disassemble this, I'm going to need to unclip all those. Put this aside, let's have a look at the casing real quick. So if you want to remove this bezel, you're going to need to remove all of the E-clips inside. No, sorry, not all of them, just one on this large button. So let me just quickly do that. It shouldn't be as hard. I already done this plenty of times. And once you've done that, all you have to do is just push the buttons out, or just try to remove the bezel. Starting with this side over here, just lift it up like that, okay, and then pull it all the way to this side. It will remove the buttons and all the bezel as well. Slowly, try not to force it, or else you might accidentally bend the button shaft. So I'm trying to, alright, that's that. Okay, now the bezel could already been removed, and here is the front side of the watch casing, looking incredibly gorgeous with this metal piece. It feels like plastic, but after holding it right now, it is actually aluminum. And I noticed that Casio even there put a connection over here, probably to earth the connection inside of some kind. I have no idea what. That looks incredibly cool. This is the buttons, made out of plastic. Feels pretty cheap, but well, when you use it, when it combined together with the casing, it feels solid. So that's what I like about G-Shock. They are very, very well integrated. And this is the button side, and this is why you cannot remove it by forcing it over. This part look like that, and even this black bezel goes all the way underneath these buttons, so you cannot just force it out like that because the button is too big. Okay, like so. Notice these metal decorations on top. That is how they look like at the bottom. So there are so many complexity down there, all of which designed to add strength to the watch from the shape of them. Really, really cool design. Now, what I want to do now is fix this glass. This is just mineral crystal. So I picked up a $1 glass protector of a size of 31 millimeters. This is no brand screen protector, just regular screen protector cut out to a different size. I have 31 millimeters over here, 35 millimeters, 32 millimeters. I tried 32 millimeters, but it couldn't fit unless you remove this ring. But once you remove this ring, you cannot put it back after you put this glass, because it affects the thickness. So 31 millimeters is the way to go. Okay, check this out. You could test it out and just glue it on like that, and that's how it look like. Will be slightly thicker. You could wiggle it up a little bit, slightly give in there, but yeah, you could put this thing over here and basically secure your watch from any kind of scratch whatsoever, just in case you slip while you are working out or fell off while you are running. At least the watch glass is protected. The bezel pretty much will be scratched, but the glass is much more precious in this case, since you're gonna be working out. Really beat the hell out of this thing, so protect the glass. From what I could see so far, I bought this about $1 only, so I didn't see any effects to the clarity, because this digital movement is bright enough already, high contrast, so I think that looks good. But right now, let's disassemble this movement, and you know, for no reason at all, just to see what's inside. Here are all of the components, and let me walk you through again on what just happened. So what I did is that I just unclipped this metal piece to release all of this component out of their place. So that's pretty much it over here. There's no springs, no tiny springs to be careful of. And this is the vibration module placed on top, which connect with these two connectors over here to this other side of the circuit board. So just in case this thing break in the future, you could easily replace them, unlike on previous model where it's just soldered to the circuit board, so that makes it harder. Next thing is the circuit board itself, which is incredibly well designed. Notice that all of the major components was only placed on one side, and the bigger component, just a few of them, was placed on the back. This is a sign of high quality circuit board design. Look at the pattern down there. That is really cool design. That is, in my opinion, is an artwork down there. Really cool. This is where the vibration module was connected to, and on top there's 4 points on the end here. So this is where the LED light is connected to. This is where the ribbon cable was connected. Well, all you have to do is just unclip it upwards, and then you could release the cable over here. Pretty easy. And everything, all of the major components, the processor, I believe the Bluetooth module, was covered with this tape. I believe this is some kind of heat tape, since sunlight could just pass through this screen, the LCD, and shine towards this component of the watch. So I guess that's why they cover it up, to ensure longevity. And notice that there are no quartz crystal oscillator like on any previously released G-Shock watch. They didn't exist on this watch, on this movement. Yeah, look at that. You can't find them, and that is interesting in my opinion. And I guess that's also one of the reasons how this watch could have 2 years battery life. Somewhat they changed that and make it much more efficient, and just by looking at all the components, all the soldering points, this is really nicely made circuit board. So that shows quality, and that is what we're paying for. Moving on to the MIP display, which is slightly thicker. You could see through this panel as well. Not sure if the camera could pick it up, but I could see through it. So yeah, sunlight could pass through and hit all the circuit board on top. So that's why they covered it up like that, I guess. And it came in dark blue colorway. I'm not sure if I could peel this off to change the polarizer to different colors, but you could try and do it on your own at your own risk. I'm not going to do it on mine. Looks good so far. This is a reflector from the LED lights, a diffuser to ensure even backlight distribution, and this is the battery. This is 4 springs that goes into 4 holes over here that connect to the LED lights over here, which has the same size of any LED light that was added on previously released G-Shock watch. This is a comparison to a G-Shock mini LED backlight, all of which will glows in white colorway, but this one over here has some green tint to it, where this one is yellowed. And I guess that will summarize all the components that made up this movement. Probably simple movement, but keep in mind, this is where the complication goes.